So apologies for not having a recorded episode last week. I was trying to get it in, as I said, on Thursday, but unfortunately, because of some other circumstances that were happening behind the scenes, I had to do a live stream. I had to live stream it, and I had to break the news to somebody like Wyatt, and Wyatt was not all that happy about it, but he completely understood. But we're here. We're getting this done and over with this week. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 17 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. As always, it's me, Leonard, and to my left, that is Wyatt Walker.
What's up, y'all?
So far, we're the only two in here. Zachary Taylor, I believe, is probably busy on the farm, and Sean is taking care of business, probably in his apartment, fixing up a toilet or something. I have no clue. Yeah. So, I want to go ahead and say, before we go on ahead and get it started, I did bring up that at the end of last week's show, that there were some topics from last week that I did bring up that we were going to revisit this week. And there's a handful of them that I wanted to revisit, and you'll definitely know which ones that we're going to revisit when we get there. So, let's get this show on the road. Let's preview Darlington. 3 races within one weekend. Finally back to that for the first time since, well, last year. And honestly, I'd have to say that the racing itself was for the most part, it was a typical Darlington style type of racing where, you know, the turns are very narrow. You gotta make sure that you bring the car home in one piece. You're obviously not gonna escape without a Darlington stripe, so I mean that's kind of typical. So with that, we ended off last week with 3 different winners. Sheldon Creed won the truck race in a throwback, in a Ultra Motorsports throwback to add on. You also have... What's that?
Sorry to interrupt you on that one, but can we just mention, like, I didn't watch the race, but looking back at him, can we just mention that was, like, a wreck fest?
We can definitely mention that trucks was definitely a wreck fest at best. Especially for the first time ever, if to my recollection, in a long time, a big one taking place on a restart.
And all the tracks, the big one at Darlington.
Never would have seen that in a long time.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah. I mean, as far back as I can remember, is with the big one happening at Darlington, spring race 2002 on the back straightaway. So, I mean, that's really all I can tell you there. But yeah, that truck race, safe to say, that was a wreck fest, but it was won by Sheldon Creed. The Xfinity race was won by Justin Allgaier, which wasn't really expecting that, but hey, surprise, surprise, Junior Motorsports has definitely stepped up their game, and, you know, obviously you got Allgaier with a Dale Sr. throwback, winning it, and that's...
Speaking of Junior Motorsports, tough break for his teammate, who got penalized really bad. Even got DQ'd.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was for Dash for Cash, Noah Gregson. Honestly,
that's right.
I didn't even figure that out up until they said, "Oh, Allmendinger won." That's because that's the first thing I saw. I saw Allmendinger was the Dash for Cash winner, but then as I'm scrolling through my Instagram feed, I see Noah Gregson was the winner, and it was like, "Oh, he was the first winner." Oh, then what happened to Gregson? Must have failed post-race inspection.
and then Allmendinger got the Dash for Cash.
Yeah. But hey, Allmendinger gets the Dash for Cash. I'm happy either way. I mean, I don't really follow Dash for Cash all that much anyway, so, you know. Anyways, Cup race, convincing fashion, dominated by your boy, Martin Truex Jr., got the win in a what I believe is a Furniture Row Racing throwback, I would assume.
That's what he was saying, and I listened back to his video. He said that one was for Furniture Row, and the ironic enough, it was Regan Smith who interviewed him at the line. If you
About
think back,
that.
Furniture Row, he got Furniture Row their first win at Darlington
At
ten
Darlington.
10 years ago.
Isn't that amazing of how time really just comes in full circle, you know?
So that's actually a pretty good win for Truex. If you think about it, he did it for Furniture Row, his old team, and he did at the track where they got their first ever win.
That's that honestly mind blowing if you really ask me. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and give our thoughts. So, what'd you think? What'd you think about the racing at Darlington? What did you think about the excitement at Darlington Raceway, even though we weren't able to watch it?
I was about to say I didn't get to watch a damn thing of it. But all in all, from what I heard, it's pretty good. A bunch of wreck fest, a really much of a wreck fest, to be honest. But the racing was pretty good. We had some surprise drivers win. We didn't think was. Did anyone mention Sheldon Creed as the driver to win
I don't
in the
think I
prediction?
saw that. Hang on, let me
A
look.
dark a dark horse, yes. Driver to win, I don't think so.
Yeah, I never mentioned him as a driver to win. You
I
never
didn't.
did. Let's see.
I think Taylor
Sean did.
mentioned something
Sean
about.
did
Oh,
actually.
Sean got him.
Sean did it.
Oh, Sean got him. Okay.
Wow, look at that.
My driver one was actually done pretty close. Chose Ben Rhodes. He did pretty good.
Yeah. Uh, Gilliland did okay. He was my dark horse.
I forgot who my dark horse was. Oh yeah, it was Kraus. And I picked him because of last year. Of how well he did last year.
But
But yeah,
yeah.
Xfinity pretty good. I knew Junior Motorsport driver was gonna win. I chose the wrong one. He was no, literally. I was having a feeling with the Junior Motorsports. It was between those two. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, Allgaier's already got a win, so I'm not sure. That'll be nice and give it to Gregson. Of course, it was Allgaier,
Of course, of all people, Allgaier.
and I was so close to the winners. I could have gone like three in a row. Cause like Kyle Larson was all there. Larson is probably one of the best drivers at Darlington. He was there. I knew Truex was going to be a factor to
Mhm.
get that to win, but I didn't think he was going to win it.
Yeah.
He surprised me. He won it.
Let's see. Who did I pick
Oh,
as a driver to win? Oh, it's just
I
Denny
think
Hamlin.
I didn't think Hamlin's going to win.
Well,
I find it ironic. I'm just not thinking about this. I find it ironic that the drivers who were the big two last year, getting the most wins out of anyone, has not won a race yet.
it's 0 right now.
For both Hamlin and Harvick.
And I'm shocked by that. I'm
Why don't
honestly shocked.
we can add Chase Elliott, our champion, in that list as well.
That that honestly is shocking. You know, it could be
Add,
like a slump that he's on right now.
I think this should be a top. I think we should add this to the topics.
Just add that randomly add that in there.
I mean, most of the topics are added randomly. So
Right. We redo this randomly during commercial break anyway, so jeez. But yeah, I definitely would have to agree with you there. I mean, as far as just the type of the racing that we saw, trucks, already mentioned it. It was a wreck fest. 100% wreck fest. That big one definitely puts a big exclamation point on it. Xfinity race, I mean, wasn't even. I mean, I kind of figured that Allgaier would be a factor. Wasn't thinking that he'd be a winner though, but lo and behold, I was proven wrong. I didn't even think Josh Berry would finish second in that race at
I
all.
was thinking. I wasn't sure how Josh Berry would do. I knew he was going to do good on the short tracks and all that stuff, but it was Darlington. I didn't think he would do well as a first time going to that track.
Yeah,
But then again, I forget most of these drivers are first time drivers, so
a lot of them are really. And then in Cup, with Truex being the winner and everything, and seen as though you had Kyle Busch, who had a tire problem at the end of stage 1, rallied back to finish third, and then Kyle Larson getting up there and mixing it up and finishing second. As far as Truex goes, that was expected. So
can we just mention how close Kyle Larson has been getting to multiple wins this year?
He's been getting really close.
He has been so close. He does have a win. Thankfully, he does have a win, so he's not like second place every single time, not getting able to get a win.
Yeah.
But how many races is so far he's been leading a bunch of laps and he's not gotten the win?
Okay, let's see. Atlanta,
Miami.
Let's see.
Atlanta was the worst one.
Atlanta was the heartbreaker right there.
It was the heartbreaker.
Darlington, you can add that on the list because that was just recently.
Kansas.
Yep. That's four.
He wasn't that big of a factor at Martinsville. Phoenix, he did okay at Phoenix.
He did okay. I wouldn't say that he was a true factor. But
Trying to think about the track. Mainly these 4 out of like 11. He's been like a fact. He's been like pretty much a factor to almost winning. I know we didn't get all the tracks, but just like there's a few that he's probably have led that we can't think of on top of our heads. I know he barely had a chance at Talladega. He didn't even know.
No, he didn't. He had no chance at Talladega. Oh. He had. Oh. Bloopers. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. We've got ourselves some bloopers here, guys. How about that? Oh, man. This is going in the best of May. I just got to make sure that I save this clip. Oh, actually, well... I can fix it during commercial break. There's just that little bit of light right there that it's coming through. I probably should fix it. Yeah, it looks fine. It looks fine if I'm actually looking at it, but just from the camera, it's different.
You look fine. I'm not sure about that one.
Oh no, I was talking about this little thing of light right over here.
I know.
But that's a blooper
sorry
reel
about
right
that.
there.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I was I had to talk to him about something.
Talk to him about something. Okay. So, where were we at?
We were mainly. I think we were getting close to the grading.
Oh yeah, we were getting there actually. You know what? So let's just move forward to the grading because we were getting to that point, and then your dad walked right on in. Okay, so let's go ahead, give this Darlington weekend a personal grade, and I want to go ahead start off with you, Wyatt, because you're the only person here right now. If you could give this weekend a grade from A to F, what would it be, and why?
Trying to think because we've had some surprise winners, but we also had the Wreck Fest.
Yeah.
And neither one of us actually watched the full race, so
we mainly only know what we've seen on social media.
That's basically. It. I think just to be neutral, I think I might give it an A. I'm just neutral. I guess A. I don't know.
Honestly, a little bit. I'm a little bit neutral on this one too, because like, although we only know what we know from the highlights, and that is practically it.
Yeah,
Just
basically.
because, like, if you were to watch any of like the extended highlight reels that NASCAR puts up, they're really not all that good. Honestly, they're not great.
You
Um,
gotta watch the whole thing in order to know it.
exactly. You basically have to wait for the full replay to actually have to pop up on your feed and then watch that. You can't just look at the highlights because the highlights are poorly put together, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
basically.
They're poorly put together. Because you just have random filler points throughout the entire highlight reel, and then you got the key points of the race, and then you've got like the big moments, like, oh gosh, Stuart Friesen blew up on the white flag lap, and like they'll include that, but then they'll just include like random clips from commercial break of the racing, and yeah, that's it. But they're definitely not like the highlight reels that they would put up. They put up like 7-8 years ago. Those ones were actually pretty good. But let's go ahead and I still need to give my grade.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, I was about to say, you didn't give me a grade yet.
uh, this is what happens when you do the show on a Monday, guys. You're practically
It's
out
a
of it
mon.
because it's just
It's
a
a
Monday.
Monday.
It's a Monday, and this is gonna drop on a Friday. But no,
We're all kind of cuckoo, especially him.
especially me. I'm gonna give this a B because I feel like this weekend
Yeah,
could have been a lot better had the truck race not been a wreck fest. I'm still gonna point at that big one on the restart. That puts a big exclamation point on it. Um,
hmm
but really though, I mean the racing itself, from what we've seen on bits and pieces, it actually was good. Um, I mean, we've had 3 different winners across the board. Obviously, you're going to end up with that most of the time. So, I mean, best I can give it is a B. That's it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks. When we come back, we're going to revisit some topics and we're going to go over some new topics as well. So, stick around, folks. We'll be right back. And we're back for episode 17 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. As always, Elijah Leonard alongside Wyatt Walker to my left. So, we've managed to fit in some new topics, so some of the revisited topics. Nice tongue twister right there, me. Great job. Revisit some of the topics that I brought up last week, and also some topics that we've got set before us for this week. Well, at least what we have. Obviously, there are going to be more news items that will pop up later on throughout the week, as you probably would already know by the time that this episode drops. But what we have for today, for this week, is what we've got. So, we're just going to roll with it. So, let's go ahead. Let's talk about the first thing. We're just mainly going to talk about today's topics first, and then we're going to get on with not yesterday's, but last week's topics, really. Jim Utter had posted up on Twitter that apparently, let me actually look at this. Each NASCAR Cup Series team will be limited to 7 cars per team next season. 7. What? Excuse me. This ain't Roush. If you remember, back in the day,
Yeah.
Roush was the only 5-car team. They even made a 6th car that was not full-time. It was part-time. This was before the 4-car rule came into play. I don't even know when that came up. But, at the time, Roush was the only 5-car team. But now, starting in 2022, they're going to be limiting cars per team to 7.
Well, I'm just now thinking about this. I have a bunch of downs on this because like I've been here mainly for like the 4-car rule and all that stuff, but 7, even 5, even I've seen like 5, maybe 6, maybe, but I think 5 would have been a better limit. But just
7?
7. I mean, it's good for newcome drivers to like get spots, but what about like drivers who need like other rides? Like, how are we going to have 7 drivers in a 40-car field?
How can you do that though? Because then, really, what you'd have, here's what you'd have probably.
Already.
Here's the thing. Here's what I think. You would have 5 full-time teams with 35 of those cars being from those 5 of those cars being from, well, actually, wait. 5
Yeah,
teams.
you're right.
5 teams with 7 cars that make up the 35 out of the 40 cars, and then the other ones would be either 1 to 2 car teams.
And if you think about this for a minute, who are the main teams who would probably go 7? It would most likely end up being Joe Gibbs, Stewart Haas, Hendricks. Maybe Penske. Maybe it's a big maybe on Penske because they're usually like 3.
They're usually 3 to 4, but I mean they normally would be like a 2 to 3 car team. That's it.
So I think the only main teams that would actually do that would end up being Joe Gibbs, Hendricks, and Stewart Haas.
You can't put Roush into that conversation anymore. As much as you were willing to, as much as other people would want to say that Roush would be one of those teams that would increase back to where they were. They don't have the finances to do that anymore.
They used to, and they used to have great drivers driving for them to do that. I mean, they had like Mark Martin, they had Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, drivers who was able to win. Yeah. You can add David Reagan in that conversation as well because he actually won once. No, we can't add him. You got some drivers who were the past drivers at Roush did amazing. Jeff Burton, I believe, was another good one.
McMurray was a pretty decent one. He's got 2 wins there.
I forgot McMurray. Yeah, McMurray's pretty good. He was pretty good in that team.
Yeah.
Got those drivers. Kurt Busch. I forgot Kurt Busch.
Oh yeah, Kurt was a big one in that one.
So Roush had drivers come up from there, but looking at now, I don't see how they're going to get. No,
you can't.
The most I'm already predicting this. The most these drivers are going to get is most likely 5. It's most likely 5, and I could see like Hendricks doing that. Probably getting this is like a made up prediction. Probably like Noah Gragson or someone going up there getting like the. I don't know. Get like the 80, bring the 88 back. I don't or have like
a 25.
20. Yeah, bring the 25 back, or just like something like that, or just I don't know. This is like something I'm just now thinking of.
Yeah. It's like the thing is that
also bringing this up too, and I know this may be something else. This may be a different topic, but don't forget about the junior motorsports moving up and colleague racing. Think about them. If they come up, how many cars do you think they will add in here? Junior motorsports. If they were smart, I'd say they should stick with 1 car team.
It's a good place to start, you know.
And what about 2311 and Trackhouse? They're still technically new. What if Hamlin went up and decided to get like 3 cars? Maybe end up being stupid and get like 5 for all that. What? Think these are some topics to think about.
This is probably one of the dumbest topics we've ever talked about.
I don't think it's the dumbest. I think it's actually a pretty good topic. It's just like the dumbest thing to think about.
In hindsight, it is a good topic because like it does bring other teams into the conversation. Like you mentioned, junior motorsports and college racing, to name a few. And you had college racing. They've announced possible plans to go full-time next year. They've announced those.
They're planning on going full-time, and it wouldn't surprise me if they end up, because they've been doing okay with like the one part-time car.
Yeah, they've done.
Who knows? They may have like a full-time driver and a part-time. If they're smart, they should not try to go to 7. If you leave trying to go up. I don't think any of them should go up to 7. At least 5. At least maybe 5. Maybe small drivers might get 6. Maybe, but at least 5.
If you're a startup Cup team, if you're just now starting up in the Cup Series, I'd say just go with 2 or 3. Maybe just even if you want to be smart, just go 1.
1. Just go be smart, be 1. But if you're like a veteran team like Stewart Haas, Joe Gibbs, Hendricks, maybe Penske. I say maybe because they barely go up to like 4.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to do that, then maybe you guys may be able to go to 5. At least 5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
But no, 7, that's too much.
It's far too much. So, at the end of the day, though, once it gets down to that point, that'll be interesting to see what the headlines are going to look like later on down the road.
On the upside about it, though, they will be able to put drivers places that like are uncertain. They will be able to get those drivers have expanded guys move up, Matt DiBenedetto getting a ride, all that. Just like. All that goodness just going around. That's the positive side of this. But the negative side,
that's
too many cars in a low field.
And like too less teams, like you'll have lesser tems on the racetrack. Like you probably wouldn't see Premium Motorsports on the track anymore. You probably wouldn't see
Spire. Well, I don't know about Spire.
Spire could.
Spire's planning on just sticking around. This year is just them testing the track.
Yeah.
But they're not trying to go for wins. They know Spire's just there, just to race.
They're just there to race, and I feel like what they're doing. I mean, like. In retrospect, to touch on Spire Motorsports a little bit, yes, they got a 2-car team. They got 1 full-time car. They got 1 part-time car, which kind of alternates between Justin Haley and other drivers as well. But mainly, I feel like that since they're not really focused all that much on winning races or performing like to the best of their ability, they're just out there. That's it. They're focusing on next year. They're focusing on next year, and in the process, I feel like they're doing good. In hindsight, because they're not focused on anything. They're not focused on wins or top 10s or top 15s or 20s. They're mainly focused on getting notes prepared for the next year. So they're kind of treating this as if they've got nothing to lose and they can just go out there and drive.
Exactly.
And in Corey's case, he doesn't have to push the car. If you remember 2017, his rookie year, when he was driving for BK Racing, he would try to push the car to its absolute limit, and he would pay the price for it. But no, now it's now that Corey's driving for Spire, and now that he has a little bit more experience under his belt, I feel like that since he knows that he's getting Spire, he's helping along with Spire's plans for 2022. He's just going out there and racing. That's it.
Basically, and that's why I'm saying, like, going back up to the teams, they would be like, I know they would probably like, okay, just have like a 2-car team.
That's the best thing that they can do.
And speaking of like segues, we touched up on like the mentioned about the next gen cars.
Let's go ahead and discuss that actually. So
Yeah,
I've
since we
already
got that
talked.
little segue going there.
I've already talked about my thoughts on the next gen cars. They look absolutely amazing.
They look pretty good, but did you notice the wheels?
But yep, they're still sticking with the one lug nut. That's the whole
That
down.
is the
That's the downer
stupidest.
though.
That's the stupidest decision I've ever heard.
That's a downer.
I hope, I hope that this is just a trigger for that, and then they're going like, nope, five lug nuts again.
They've got time before the next year. So I mean, they could try if they do end up listening to the fans, which half the time they do, half the time they don't. They could add the 5 luck nuts back on. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, like we don't know what's gonna happen between now and the end of the year or 2022 for that matter. But still, the cars look cool. One thing that I kind of figured out, well, that I kind of thought was kind of interesting and funny at the same time. You take a picture of a Gen 6 car and you compare it to the next gen. These cars look very, very similar to each other.
All of them all of them barely have any difference between them. They all kind of look similar.
They do. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong. It's a change. But it's a small one.
Yeah.
That's it. Because, like, the only difference I can think of is, it feels like that the roof, I feel like that's a little bit shorter. It's more of like an A kind of shape. The spoilers are a lot smaller.
I think that's something we needed.
The noses, I think, on all cars are more rounded. The bumpers, like the back bumpers, are more. I think those are more rounded as well. So you know, there are some changes, but I feel like the Gen 7 and the Gen 6 body wise are relatively similar to each other. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Segue. This time it's going to be with tracks. And apparently, and Stuart Gratton followed me on Twitter. Hooray! Amazing. And apparently, anyways, Mom was asking me if I had any Starburst jelly beans. I'm like, no. Starburst.
Where's my jelly beans?
Weird. Go buy some. They're at the gas station. Anyways, so let's go ahead and talk about something more positive. Not to say that the Gen 7 car is negative or anything else about the 7 car thing is negative or whatnot, but it was announced a few days ago that Kansas, Darlington, and Daytona would be reopening their tracks at full capacity later on this year. Which, I mean, I was a little bit sketchy when Coda announced this a few weeks ago. I was a little bit sketchy about it. And I mean, because, like, part of it was because of the COVID stuff that, I mean, obviously that has been kind of ramping up and kind of putting a damper on everybody's party, if you know what I mean. But now that we're seeing like sports arenas as far as wrestling is concerned, just a little bit off topic. I mean, AEW recently announced that they're going back on tour in July in the summer. WWE's announced that they're potentially going back to touring at their SummerSlam pay-per-view. So I mean, just to name a few, it's good to see that. I mean, we're finally starting to get fans back into the seats, and I feel like with Daytona, Darlington, and Kansas later on in the year, I feel like that'll be good to see. I mean, like, stands a lot more fuller than they've ever been since 2019. So, what's your thoughts on that, Wyatt? Do you think this is a step in the right direction?
It's definitely a step in the right direction. I'm glad to see more of these tracks starting to become like full capacity. There's still some more tracks that need to do that, but just honestly, this is really great. I'm actually glad that these tracks are finally.
You just
Wait,
stop.
hold on.
Okay.
I'll be right back. But oh no, this is pretty good.
More bloopers. he got called again. So, yeah, I'd definitely say that. I mean, this looks like this is a step in the right direction. I mean, I'm happy to see that, NASCAR is going to be opening up some tracks. Well, some tracks are going to be opening up at full capacity again. I'm happy to see that. But it will make for something to kind of watch for. I mean, as far as if cases are actually going to be ramping up, but I feel like they might be a little bit lower this year because of the vaccine that came out a few months ago, and a lot of people probably got vaccinated. So, I mean, we still got some ways to go, but I'm hoping, hopefully by 2022 or 23, hopefully things go completely back to normal. I mean, I'm not saying that they won't. I mean, because like COVID really isn't going anywhere. COVID is kind of here and it's staying forever. So I mean, all we can really do is just deal with it. That's all we can really do. All right. So now we gotta wait for Wyatt to come on back. And I also gotta reopen Discord. Alright, so bring up Raphael Lessard, bring up Denny Hamlin, bring up Kyle Busch, and other drivers. Okay. And perfect timing, too.
It's bring up other drivers who need second wins.
That's what I was saying. I said Kyle Busch, and then I changed it. So, now that Wyatt's back, let's go ahead and revisit some topics that I had brought up last week, but I'm going to bring up this week. Raphael Lessard was full-time in the Truck Series driving the number 24. Well, apparently, that's changed. Raphael Lessard, I'm not sure what the reason was, but he's out. And Ryan Reed is in. So
I'm trying to figure out where did Ryan Reed get in. He's like, I heard Raphael was out. I didn't know who's going to replace him. But the next thing I know, I look at the agenda, I see Ryan Reed's in. Like, wait, Ryan Reed? Where? I keep looking on social media to see where the hell this was at. I didn't see it.
Why? Taylor, I think, ended up putting it in the Breaking Stories chat. Let's see. Yeah, he put it in there. But, so, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. First of all, I saw what you pulled there in your predictions, trying to choose him as the driver to stay away from. That didn't work out all that well.
Wait, what?
You chose him. You chose Ryan Reed as the driver to stay away from trucks.
I mean, I didn't. How did he do? Where
he
he
finished? He finished 12th.
Oh, that's a little impressive. My thing was, no, he said he was driving the 24 at Darlington. They say he was doing the race, but just I didn't think he was going to do all that well, to be honest. But he did. I guess he did surprise me, prove me wrong. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he did good. I mean, for GMS, I feel like he did good. I mean, it beats me on what the future plans are going to be for the 24 truck. If they're actually going to make that their all-star truck again, or if they're going to actually sign somebody to drive the 24 for the rest of the year. They could sign Ryan Reed. They could sign anybody that was in the Truck Series, but then could come back.
At that point, they did have 5 trucks in their team.
Oh yeah.
before that, they had Sheldon Creed, the recent winner. We got Tyler Ankrum. We got Zane Smith. We got the rookie Chase Purdy.
So yeah, that 24 is
And
the fifth guy.
that's
So
right.
what do you do with it, really? Because
And
like that was
I thought he was pretty good. I actually thought Rafael Lessard was like doing good, kicking butt.
Raphael
Um,
was doing okay. He was actually for his time at GMS, he was doing all right.
but I don't understand what happened.
I'm not sure what happened, but all we know now is that he's getting ready for next year. So best of luck to Raphael Lessard. I'm not sure what happened there. Um,
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the infamous 2311. Infamous, and the reason why I say infamous is because that team has been hyped so badly late last year when it was first announced. And then once they come into this year, it looked like that they were going to do all right in the Daytona 500 and other plate races, but we've seen that they haven't been doing all that great. They haven't been living up to Denny Hamlin's expectations. So Denny was very frustrated about this, and understandably so, because if you're a team owner and you have high expectations for your team, and especially driver, to perform at their best ability, and they're not doing that, there's a problem. So he had talked about this, saying that the team needs to like look forward to the summer, try to get better for the summer, and once you're good at the summer, try to get better in the fall, and then once you're good in the fall, so on, so on, so on. He was frustrated about about Bubba's performance and the team's performance, and and I'm gonna go ahead and say, 2311 has had some good runs. I mean, there have been points where they have run top 15, top 10s at times. However, though, something would come along and just bite them in the neck, and they would just be like top 20, 25, 30 throughout the rest of the race. And those numbers would not back up the good runs that he's been having, that he's been putting up. So, I want to ask you, is Denny Hamlin right or wrong to be frustrated with the performance of 2311?
I'd say that's a tough one, to be honest. Like, I mean, he does have rights to be angry about that, but at the same time, he don't have a win himself. So, it goes hand in hand. And I'm looking at the current looking at the points right now. They're still above Suarez for Trackhouse, but to me, Trackhouse seem like they're better. It has been better.
Wyatt, did you see
what? No, I didn't. What'd you do?
I just did this.
Oh, because of the Denny Hamlin one?
Mic drop. I'm sorry.
Because of the Hamlin. Because of the Hamlin comment.
Yep.
I mean, it's true. I mean,
it is true.
He's frustrated about 2311 when he don't have a win himself.
Now, when you really think about it, that's a double standard. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
In my playoff format, he has the most points of anyone so far. He's currently like in the 11th right now, but he's up from the playoff grid 261 points. So he's doing pretty good, but he just can't get a win. Just like his driver.
It's amazing. Oh my gosh, man. But
I like Denny, but I could roast him.
I mean, there are days where I like Denny, there are days where I don't. And I mean, like, as much as I like Denny, his driving, sometimes he'll make a lot of bonehead moves on the track.
I mean,
he has done that before.
Also, you also go, also going like I'm just now pointing this out here. I'm looking at this grid. It is bad for your team. Is when the veteran driver is like above the playoffs and your others are on the bottom. But the rookie is better than your teammates in points. I'm talking about Stuart Haas here. Harvick's the cutoff, above the cutoff, and just looking at his teammates right here. I know I'm off topic, but still, Briscoe is up by Custer and Amarola, and Briscoe's 25th.
Man. Oh, man. That just goes
It's
to
bad
show
when
you. That just goes to show you that Stuart Haas is not on the right end of the shoe. The
Haas
shoe is
is
on the
not.
wrong foot right now. Yeah. That sucks, though. I mean, it's good to see Harvick's performing good, but as far as
I mean,
everybody
it's good.
else... Ugh.
I mean, it's good to see the rookies doing pretty well this
But yeah,
regular
that is
season.
true.
But Custer, I mean, he was the surprise winner. But Amarola, I mean, he's usually up there by now.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's only gotten one top 10 this year, and that came at, where was it? I swear I watched the race. Richmond. It was Richmond. Man.
But yeah, and we talked, and another segue. You talk about drivers. How about them trying to get their second win?
That's another thing. Because I mainly had that set for specifically for Kyle Busch. I was talking specifically about Kyle Busch last week because he went to victory lane earlier in the season for the first time since 2019. Think about that. It didn't take him long this year to get to victory lane than what it did last year.
Last year, it took him like to the second to last.
The third to last race.
Third to last race to get him a win. He almost went winless the whole year.
Oh
I'll
my
be honest.
gosh, man.
I'll be honest. I was actually rooting for him to be winless.
I bet there were a lot of people that were rooting for him to be winless.
And you mentioned that, and I got my little playoff grid here, and looking at this, Truex is the only driver with 3 wins. He's the only driver with multiple wins. And you look at this list of other ones. You got Byron, Logano, Blaney, Larson, Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, and Michael McDowell. A few of these drivers have the potential to get their second win this season.
So far, they have won.
Mainly the number 5, because as we talked about, he's been so close so many times.
I honestly feel like that drivers that could get a second wind. Like when I say second wind, I mean like their performance is getting rejuvenated. Like Mark Martin, for example, when he was with Roush, he did good. He was having the time of his life. But then, late in his run with Roush, I mean, obviously he started to dwindle. He wasn't winning as much, and he was winless from 2006 all the way up to 2009. When he signed with Hendrick in 2009, that's where he started taking off again. That's when he started getting a second win. He won 5 races in his first year with Hendrick Motorsports and almost won the championship at 50 years old. So, as far as Kyle Busch's case, he could get a second wind. I mean, Kyle Larson, I mean, we talked about him. I mean, he's been doing really, really good. I mean, as far as him getting a second wind goes, I mean, that is very, very likely. Because he has shown that he can win. He has the he puts himself in the right places at the right times. However, though, it's just like if there was at least 1 or 2 more laps, he would have gotten. I mean, like those 4 wins that we probably had brought up that he could have gotten.
Probably. And look back at his teammates. We got William Byron and Alex Bowman. Byron has actually been doing really well this season.
This is the best that he's ever done.
Yeah, he got that win early at Miami. He's been running up front lately. He's doing pretty good. I can see him getting a second win, but his teammate, on the other hand, Bowman, he was the surprise winner at Richmond.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure he's going to get another win.
I mean, he could.
He could, but I'm not sure. But we also, how about those Penske boys? All three of them got a win.
All three of them do.
I can see Keselowski getting another win. Unfortunately, I can see Logano getting more wins. But
Blaney jinx is kind of a stretch.
Blaney is a stretch because he's usually that driver that gets one win a year. And he's doing pretty good. He may end up breaking that and end up getting a second win.
Here's my thing. You got, I mean, because like my take on this is that you've got drivers, I mean, obviously who haven't won yet. I mean, and just to clarify, Wyatt, when I say second wind, I'm not talking about like actual like another win in the year. I'm talking like a second breath of air that like when I brought up the Mark Martin example.
Yeah.
But like Kevin Harvick, I feel like he could get a second wind because the thing is that he's shown that, I mean, he has gotten top 5s and top 10s. I mean, he's at least been able to do that. So that's taken care of. That aspect is taken care of. So as far as him winning, as much as he's won last year, maybe, I don't know, because it's kind of a stretch right now. Hamlin, a little bit of a stretch, just a tad.
Harvick hasn't really been running up front a lot lately.
No.
Yeah, he hasn't really been leading a lot of laps. He's up in the points, doing pretty good, but just laps leading, I don't think he's doing the best. Along with Hamlin's led laps. Hamlin has led laps. He's led a good amount. He's been finishing really well. He's not that big of a worry. He just needs to figure out when.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott, the final Hendrick driver, he's the champion, is also having trouble.
Having trouble getting the shoe on the right foot.
Yeah, basically.
So, as the year goes on, I mean, so far we've had. Let's see. Let's see.
10 winners.
All right, we've got Truex. We've got
Byron, Logano, Blaney, Larson, Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, Michael McDowell.
All right, so let's see. That is 1, 2. So let's see. Hang on. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different winners this year.
And that's 10 different winners. I've mentioned this already, Elijah. I've said this.
Once you get me to figure out something, you're not going to get me off of it. I will figure it out. Even if you brought it up, I'm still going to figure it out. There was no get me out of that one. Jeez, man. That just goes to show you how far my attention span is stretching today. It's Monday.
Also, we mentioned winners. Like you mentioned, Kyle Busch trying to get like second one. He's able to. What about Bell? What about my
Christopher
boy Bell?
Could be another one. Because, like, I mean, he has shown that he can get up there and perform, and he has done that all year so far this year. A good place for him where he could maybe get another win. If you want to talk road courses, possibly Coda, but that's an unknown right now because nobody's raced Coda yet.
Yeah, And the only drivers who had somewhat experience is Truex, Elliott, and Keselowski, and they practiced there.
I think Kurt Busch did a seat swap with somebody there, way back in 2013. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't think that would count, but just
no.
Also, I want to bring up the playoff grade one more time because I'm looking at this right now. Get this: Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher, and Tyler Reddick are currently above the playoff grid. And they're right below Hamlin, Harvick, and Elliott. Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher, and Tyler Reddick.
How about that?
And listen to the four below: Matt DiBenedetto, Stenhouse, Ryan Newman, and Kurt Busch.
Huh. Well, how about that? Jeez, man.
Yeah. It's crazy how the season is.
Clint Boyer was right when he said this is going to be the best season ever. So far, he's right. Let's just hope he stays right.
We got the most surprise winner so far.
Yeah. But I mean, if things keep going, because like the record for different winners so far in a single season is 16. If we keep going, we could break that record.
Then we'll have to figure something out about the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's go ahead and take our commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to be previewing the Monster Mile, Dover International Raceway. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Long, long ago, in a faraway land, there lived a young man named Daniel. When Daniel was a boy, he was taken from his home in Judah to live in a city called Babylon, where he went to school in the palace of the Babylonian king. Daniel missed his home very much, and every day he prayed that God would take care of his family and his friends and look after him too. God heard his prayers and helped Daniel become wise as he grew older, till everyone in the palace knew of his wisdom. Then one night, while Babylon was sleeping, the king had a dream.
And we're back for episode 17 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. Did you just dab?
No, I did that.
Oh. I just look at the camera and all of a sudden I just see this.
No, I didn't do this.
No. I'm talking like half-ass dab.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, now you dabbed. Okay.
Y'all haven't realized this now. I'm weird.
Aren't we all? So, let's go ahead. Let's preview the Monster Mile, Dover International Raceway. We've got the Xfinity and the Cup series there. Usually we'd have all three trucks to Cup there. Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup there, but Trucks is no longer scheduled to race at the Dover International Raceway or the Monster Mile. So, looking at this weekend coming in, what are some key things that we're gonna have to watch out for, Wyatt?
Miles the Monster. That's the main one. We all know that this track is hard to navigate, and if you're not careful, Miles will eat your car up.
He's just gonna go, oh look, free meal. Nom.
Yeah.
Basic.
A 23 Dr. Pepper car. Let's drink that. Let's drink that. Bring it here. Let me drink it. Let me drink it.
Chug, 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 chug.
Ooh, M&M's. Wait, is that Skittles? I don't care. Good.
I don't care. It'll be either chocolatey or juicy.
Ooh, Pennzoil. Wait, Pennzoil. Oh, that's disgusting. I'll just throw that out.
You just pour it.
Here's the irony of that. I say that, and yet I'm wearing a Kurt Busch 22 Pennzoil shirt.
Hey, I'm wearing a Kurt Busch hat, but that's like 8 years later on.
Speaking of that, Monster Energy.
Jeez, man. Chug.
McDonald's.
Nom. All right, but yeah, let's keep on going before we get too far off the tracks here. So, as you know, we do our predictions a little bit differently than what probably some other like NASCAR Weekly Show probably does if they ever do predictions, or any other NASCAR podcast or show. So, here's how we do ours. We give you a driver who we think is going to win. Pretty self-explanatory. The driver to stay away from is the driver that just really hasn't been doing all that well the last couple weeks. Dark horse is the exact opposite of the definition of the driver to stay away from. 1 point per category. And once again, I'm going to bring up some of the inaugural races that we've got on the schedule. So Coda, let's see, Nashville Super Speedway, Road America, just name a few. And other Crown Jewel races will be double points races. So, just wanted to bring that up. Just as a reminder that we are coming up to that point. So, let's go ahead, get the party rolling. Wyatt, you're up first.
Let me get my handy dandy list here. I already got the Cup down pretty good. I think I got my Cup series down pretty good.
Well, thanks.
But going based off the Xfinity series in the past, thinking about a dark horse who's been doing recently good. You know what? Who's in the? Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna skip him this time. I'm gonna go Daniel Hemrick as my dark horse. It's a teammate of the person I skipped. My driver to stay away from. Oh, I just now see he's racing in this. This is gonna be a good one. My driver to stay away from. John Hunter Nemechek.
Oh my gosh, man. He's driving the 26.
Yes, he is.
Oh, let's see how that goes. Oh, jeez.
Did you even see he was in the roster?
As soon as you mentioned it, I looked at it and was like, oh, jeez, here he is.
John Hunter Nemechek's my driver to stay away from. He wasn't the best when he got a win back in like what 18?
Yeah, 20
for Chip Ganassi. Chip Ganassi got his first win, but when he was in doing full time for GMS in Xfinity Series, he wasn't the best.
Yeah.
So
He did okay.
He did okay. I think it's safe to say he is good at where he's at. My driver to win. There's 3 Hour Motorsports cars in this race.
Yep, there are.
Oh crap. This is hard because the obvious pick is this guy, but we got some other good drivers as well. Yeah, screw it. He's obvious. I might as well go with it. Justin Allgaier. He'll go back to back.
Okay.
Now, for the Cup Series, my dark horse automatically Kyle Larson. I know Larson's going to dominate and stuff. As much as I want to see him get that second win, I'm not sure it's going to be at Dover. Even though he has a win at Dover, I'm going to give it to Larson.
Okay. Yeah.
My driver, stay away from. I was thinking about this. I actually forgot who my initial guess was, but I think if I had to think someone new, I think I'm going to give it to Eric Jones.
I was actually looking at Eric Jones when you said that. I was thinking in my head, he's going to choose Eric Jones. 5 seconds later, there it is.
I actually did forget who I was going to pick, but I might as well just go with Eric Jones. I think I was going to pick Newman, but then I'm like, I'll try Eric Jones. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
My driver to win. I could see him getting his 4th win. MTJ, baby. I'm going Marchex Jr. Going back to back.
Keep that win streak going as the only multi-time winner of the year.
And think about Hamlin hasn't been doing. I mean, Hamlin's good. He's won there, but I don't think he's going to. How this is going to go? I don't think he's going to finally seal the deal. I don't think Harvick's going to yet.
He's not going to go out and dominate the entire freaking thing. He's not. There's no way. Watch as I say that he's going to go dominate the thing.
I know, right? He's going to get prove both of us wrong.
Exactly.
But just, I think it's most likely, I think, going to be another first-time winner. If not, it's going to be Truex. Yeah. If it's another driver, then they're going to surprise me. But I just think it's going to be Truex.
Yeah. If anybody, the best bet would have to be Truex so far.
Yeah, basically.
It's my turn now. All right, here we go. So,
unfortunately.
Oh my gosh, you. Okay, so here we go. My driver to win. I think I'm just going to go ahead and say this right off the bat. I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with Wyatt here and say Justin Allgaier is my driver to win. Because if you go back to last year, Dover was one of the places where Allgaier, I felt like he got back on track last year, where I don't even know where his first win of the season was, because I can't even remember half of the schedule last year because it got completely messed up and jumbled up. He
won both Richmond races. I think Richmond was the race he got the win.
Maybe it is. I can't even remember what the schedule looked like last year.
Schedule was all hell.
It was messed up, but still, the only other win that I can think of off the top of my head is Allgaier winning at Dover.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely say Allgaier best bet, because he, as I said over and over again, he was the most recent winner at Dover, so it makes the most sense. The driver to stay away from, that's also kind of tough because, you know, because we've got a lot of new drivers. We've got a lot of new drivers here. Not necessarily new, but just more so new to some bigger rides. So, I'm going to say for my driver to stay away from, and I hate to put him under the bus here, but I'm going to say Brett Moffitt's my driver to stay away from. Because there have been... What?
Moffitt is supposed to be going like Kevin Xfinity points by now, so he...
Yeah.
If he win... It wouldn't surprise me if he gets a win in the Xfinity Series.
I mean, our Motorsports went from one of those teams that was kind of running top 20, top 25 most of the time, to actually competing. So, I mean, as far as Moffitt's case goes, I mean, there have been races where he hasn't done all that great, and I don't think this is going to be one of them. So he's my driver to stay away from. Dark Horse, I'm going to go for a little bit of a different approach for this one. Wyatt Snyder's my Dark Horse.
Ooh.
Because I don't really think we've talked a ton about Wyatt Snyder. He's just been one of those guys that has just been really, really quiet throughout the season, despite getting a win at Homestead. I feel like other than that, he's just been mostly quiet throughout this entire season. I mean, so far. He's been doing good.
Speaking of Wyatt Snyder and Our Motorsports, he beat Tyler Reddick, who was in Our Motorsports car to win Miami.
He beat both Reddick and Moffitt that were in Our Motorsports equipment.
So again, Our Motorsports doing pretty good, and got Wyatt Snyder doing. I think that's not bad.
It's not too bad at all. All right, here we go. Cup predictions. Driver to win. So I think I'm gonna take a different turn here for this one. Chase Elliott's my driver to win.
Chase Elliott? I mean, I know he has a win, but just he hasn't had the best season so far.
Yeah, he hasn't had the best best start to the year so far. But I mean, we have seen that he has been able to perform to the best of his ability. Nice earthquake that you got going on there. But the thing is that Chase Elliott, that's one of the racetracks where he got his second win at, and it was with what? The low downforce package. It could benefit him. Then again, maybe not. But I'm going to go ahead and go bold here on this one and say that he is my driver to win.
Yep.
Driver to stay away from? I'm going to say... Oh, man. I could go for a pick that is kind of understandable, but I could also go for a pick that I've picked the most. You know which one it is. Man, you know what? I'm not gonna give it to him this week. I think I'm gonna go ahead and give this one to Eric Almirola. Honestly,
I was thinking I think Eric Almirola was the driver I was thinking about putting before Eric Jones. I think that was the one I was thinking because all Stuart Haas has not been good lately. Let's be honest. Even Harvick's not doing the best right now.
You would expect Harvick to at least win 2 or 3 times at the beginning of the year before the year went on.
At least one win.
At least one. At least. But I mean, sure, he has gotten some top 5s and top 10s, but that doesn't... It's not the same type of Kevin Harvick style that we're used to. You know?
Harvick is... I don't know. Harvick is not... All Stuart Haas hasn't been performing all that well, so I would think I was actually thinking Eric Almirola, but yeah, he was the one I've been thinking about. So that's a really good one.
Yeah. And dark horse no brainer, Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah.
Absolutely no brainer. What can you say? What description do you have to come up with to say that Truex is your dark horse? Look at what he's been able to do the last 11 races.
He's the only driver with 3 wins. He's the only multiple winning driver. So, there's no surprise he's the dark horse.
What can you say? What can you say?
Exactly.
Man. You know who my driver was going to be as a driver to stay away from. You already know.
I know who it was.
You already know.
Who it is.
To those that don't know, Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
But
I will laugh if Sean or Taylor put that.
I will laugh if either of them go like Bubba Wallace is the driver to stay away from. Man.
Same.
Okay. So we're at that point. Wyatt, you got any final thoughts before we get the weekend underway?
I don't. We had some pretty good topics to talk about. I cannot wait to see what all Dover has in store for us.
we're just gonna have to wait and see what Miles the Monster is gonna have in store for everybody, and which kind of foods or drink sponsorships he's gonna pick off of Dover. So anyways, thank you guys a lot for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like. If you have not considered subscribing yet, recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. That about does it for me. On behalf of Wyatt Walker, I'm Elijah Leonard signing out, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.